let's move on. You want to do In the Brews?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't have the flute tonight.
I didn't have the flute. I almost brought out the trombone, but I forgot to bring it.
Yeah.
So, hence, it didn't happen. All right, we're talking about In the Brews. This is the news from around the brewing world. Some months, this is really easy to find because lots of things happen. Sometimes, it's not so easy. But this month seemed to be pretty poppin' as far as brewing news.
I put this together in a few hours. It wasn't a big deal this month. Some months I'm like, buddy.
Yeah. There's a new beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately, yeah. What was the last year or last month we were talking about the new yeast packaging?
Yeah.
Like, okay, we're into interesting stuff. Oh. Dogstick Fetch with the $10 super chat that just says Crease. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you.
Found a new meme.
And Tiger Pat wants to encourage everybody to smack that like button. So, yeah, we've got a lot of news to cover this month. And I put this one first because I figured it would be the one where people would roll their eyes the hardest. So we can just hit it. We can go forward. We can get past it. Like a year and a half ago on my Discord, there was this whole conversation about how pointless NFTs were.
Yeah.
And I said, but they do allow you to track provenance on the blockchain.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true.
I don't think you should be buying like monkey pictures, but this is an interesting concept, and I'm curious what the chat thinks about this, of using NFTs to track the provenance of wine from the vine.
Yeah.
What is it called?
That's fine.
Orchard?
Vineyard?
Vineyard. I'll get there eventually. From the vineyard, from the grower, through all the channels to the consumer. And so that way you know the entire life of that bottle of wine based on the traffic on the blockchain of the NFT. I think a lot of this is still up here, real theoretical. I don't know that a lot of it's actually happening in practice, but it's a way of using crypto technology to enhance, they say, the consumer market. I think what they mean is the collector market.
Yeah, for sure. Collector.
So that way, you buy, for example, maybe you buy the Heart of Darkness from Shrim's Meadery, that one that like everybody's looking for, everybody's spending big money on, and you want to put it away for a while. You have a record from Shrim's Meadery all the way up until your house of where that thing has been. So if you decide 10 years later you're going to sell that bottle and it fetches $1,000 on the market, you can show the buyer that this is not a fake. This is the real deal. I mean,
I can see where people would be, it could work, but I also am like, if you were putting, which a lot of people don't put the year on this like labels. I've noticed that there's a lot of times
for
where
wine,
you're like,
or for
mead or beer. I have some like 8 or 9 year old stouts from Prairie, which is
for mead you're not allowed to. It's something with like vintage laws where the wine lobby has said no, that's just for us.
See, yeah, to me, if you were keeping track of a bottle, like if I were really collecting bottles, if I bought a Heart of Darkness, I'm gonna soil the label, so to speak, by putting the year I bought it on it and say this is a 2022, and that way I have that record. Now, someone might not do that, but also like if you're going to actually sell that, and you said I also have the NFT of it, are people really going to be that convinced? I don't know.
The chat seems very skeptical.
I'm skeptical. I am skeptical.
You're not going to start doing NFTs of your man-made meads?
Buy a part of this video.
No, you could be like, here's my my cupcake mead from 4 years ago. The bottle that was featured on the episode. It could be yours for $750.
I think I'm gonna start selling timestamps and videos. You get a timestamp from
every
10
second.
From 1 minute to 1 minute 10 seconds. I'll put a little shout out in the timestamp.
What if they buy the recipe part of the timestamp? Do they then own your recipe for your mead?
No, they just get a shout out. They just get in the bottom that says shout out to Colton.
So Hawk to Freak says, is that really a big problem in the wine world?
I don't know.
NFTs for wine. I don't know.
BC's for it.
Okay, that's a strong endorsement. I wouldn't say that I'm for it.
We're just not against it.
I'm open to it. I'm open to the idea of having some sort of tracking system.
That's fair.
Not for like your $2 chuck, right? But for things where provenance is important.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, the problem is not everybody's $2 chuck will eventually have an NFT. You know what I mean? People are going to start doing it for that. Because there's money involved, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. Let's move on.
Let's move on. Yeah. No, I was just seeing if there's anything. Chat is really mocking this whole idea. So I'm going to guess that general consumers are probably not going to be on board.
Probably not
based on
for it.
what I'm seeing in the chatter.